As we get into this, how long have you been with Awardco, and what was your solution like for recognition before you came to Awardco?
Okay, I started working with Awardco in July of last year, went live in September.
And Adobe, as you have organizations globally, right? So is Awardco used throughout that? Or?
It is.
Oh,
yeah, we have a global implementation.
That's incredible. How hard was it to implement globally?
Not as hard as you think until we started talking payroll.
It sounds like we have some people out here that can relate with that, right? Yeah. Okay. And what was most difficult about that aspect of it?
Payroll. I think each country has its own rules and regulations and formats, and I see everyone nodding. I think you know what I'm talking about. It's just really difficult to ensure that you hit everything correctly because you just don't want to make any mistakes in that field.
Madeline, how long has Children's Nebraska been with Awardco, and what was your experience like moving from a previous vendor or solution to what you're doing now?
Yeah, so we launched on February 27th, so I also need to shout out Shanae because she was an incredible implementation manager and she really helped to really personalize for us. One thing that I encourage with people who are implementing is try to think of things that are fun. Like, for example, I took videos across the hospital of things that are kind of inside jokes everywhere, and Shanae helped make them into GIFs, and then we added it to our content library, so when people signed in the first day, there was a picture of a helicopter taking off saying you saved the day, stuff like that. So we could really make it really unique to our hospital. And I would say previously what we did was we gave everyone Children's Hospital water bottles and sweatshirts. And so this was a common thing I was hearing from employees, that they were tired of having blankets and water bottles and things like that. And we know that people experience value and love in so many different ways. And so when we benchmarked different companies and presented it to the employees, the vast award network was really what caused our employees to want to choose Awardco, because they could really choose what was meaningful to them.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Abby, what about yourself? How long have you been with Awardco, and what was your experience like before?
I guess what prompted our transition to Awardco was the big merger between L3 and Harris, which now is L3 Harris.
When did that merger happen?
2019, I think, is when we closed. But so we transitioned to Awardco at the end of 2019 and really opened it up to enterprise-wide 2020. Our L3 side of things were very decentralized. Everything was very local. It was very, here's a gift card on your lunch break. But then we did have the Harris side. It was a little bit smaller than L3, but they did use a similar program. Not similar. Awardco is very different, but you know what I mean. We had a centralized recognition program that was very catalog-based, and that was really the drive to go to Awardco, was the employee experience that you guys could offer us.
Okay, that's great. Thank you so much. And Carrie, how long has your organization been with Awardco, and what was your experience like?
We went live on April 1st. We had been with our previous vendor for 25 years. The straw that broke the camel's back was the $50 gift card for Japan that cost $150 to ship to Japan. So we really were doing this for 100% cost savings reasons. We had identified that we could save around $800,000. That has been totally realized and saved, but the biggest benefit is we are globally in 45 different countries, and with our previous vendor, every item was a US-based company, product, etc., that was shipped to their country. The fact that our associates are able to get products that they want in their local geography is huge and has been a huge selling point for us.
That's incredible. $150 to send a $50 gift card? That's incredible. We've been talking about this at Awardco for a little while, but recognition, we've been talking a lot about ROI in this organization or in this experience here, about the ROI of recognition and how you can get the data, and that's very, very important. We want to make sure that everybody knows that, but recognition at its heart is about people, right? It's about improving the lives of your employees and the lives of your customers, and about improving just the experience. And now that can be very fluffy, right? You can't often take that to a leader and say, this is what we want. And the leader might agree with it, but they need something a little bit more. So we're talking about getting leadership buy-in. I was speaking with Penn Entertainment. Where are my Penn people at? Yeah, right there. Yeah, just one for now. Earlier this morning about getting that leadership buy-in. Have the four of you experienced any difficulties either getting leadership buy-in from the top down, or even, as we spoke about in the previous panel, manager buy-in to like get this across the line? Carrie, what about yourself? Any trouble with getting leadership buy-in?
I would say yes. We had a kind of plug and play. We took what we had in our old vendor, put it into the new vendor. So we are a huge culture of recognition. We do it because of engagement, but I don't know if it's almost like it's expected of us. So I don't know. We don't have to buy in very much because, hey, X dollars can be spent on recognition. As long as you keep doing that, we're good to go. But there has been some more excitement. Like we have added in award codes, which is a new program for this year, because we are trying to get we have a large hourly operations workforce that doesn't have access to computers. So we've started handing them award codes that they can use, scan on their phone, log it in, and that has been, it's very new, but it's also going to be, it's big from the little we've heard so far of on that spot. It's really exciting.
That's wonderful to hear. Thank you. I'd love to ask all four of you, as you're talking to your leaders, what are some of the ways, like if you can't get that level of leadership buy-in, what are some of the ways you would suggest to get that?
Yeah, so there's kind of, I'm thankful because I think that the L3 Harris culture does recognize that recognition is important from the leadership level.
Yeah.
I think there's disagreement on the best way to do so, which is kind of the gap that we're experiencing. And one of kind of our struggles now is with our limited budget. And so we're really trying to leverage other ways to, increase recognition throughout the organization and kind of show how it's important to our leadership team. For example, so we took a look at our non-monetary recognition and have seen about 70% of our employee population recognized, which is great.
Yeah.
But only about, I think it was like closer to, how much was it? It was like 5,500 employees were actually recognizing out of 50,000, which is not great, right? So we're seeing a very engaged population. And so we're trying to take that data to our leadership and say, hey, let's try and engage other populations using non-monetary automated programs to make people aware of the platform and how easy it is to navigate and use, and hopefully just kind of trigger people to go into the platform and realize, oh, I can just send a quick boost award.
Yeah, thank you very much for sharing that. Now, shifting gears here a little bit, I would love to hear some of the unique ways that you have seen Awardco used in your platform. They don't have to be like crazy unique, but I just want to know what are some ways that you're using it.
We have two long-running programs that are always on. So one is like ad hoc recognition, as we said, employees get a certain amount of points per quarter. The other one is awards. So we have an internal award system. The nominations are done through Awardco, and then the winners are picked. In a committee.
Is Employee of the Month or
kind of? They're more
specific.
Yeah, we have various ones that are for specific things. So we use tags actually to differentiate them. So people go into the program and write up why they're nominating the person, pick the appropriate tag for the award they're nominating and doing this. We've also recently implemented a self-nomination mechanic through the Earn programs, in fact, for these same awards. So these are the long-standing ones, and then we do a lot of kind of more ad hoc things when interesting things come up. So for example, now it's Q4. So we've implemented this in a customer engineering, customer success organization. So it's kind of close strong, kind of drive customer satisfaction, etc. So we're running a contest, right? It's like a CSAT contest for our employees, and we're awarding that out through Awardco. And we've also done other little like ad hoc programs like this, but we're always looking for new fun ways. But I think you have the more interesting stuff.
For hospitals or companies that have clients, we share patient experience comments, de-identified obviously to comply with HIPAA, but that's one of the first times that we've been able to share comments that came in from families actually back to the provider, and they're very meaningful, like you saved my child's life, and they never got to see that, which is sad. Other things that we've done, focusing like patient experience in the hospital sector is obviously another really big topic topic right now. So we have 2 other separate hospital experience programs besides just the patient experience. One is directed by our marketing team, and they look at Google reviews, and then they recognize everyone who got a 5-star Google review every week, and then they once a quarter give out a winner to one provider with the most impactful Google review, and then they go to that clinic or that department and they give them treats. So that's one way that marketing has tried to enhance patient experience. Another way is our emergency department in particular. Their medical director reviews any comment that comes in through the emergency department and does a similar thing where they give out points once a quarter to one of the physicians or advanced practice providers that created an exceptional emergency department experience. So those are some ways that different areas have taken it. We've also done some fun things like our PICU did a March Madness challenge, so they had brackets, and then whoever won March Madness, they got points every week based on their brackets. That was a fun way. Stole an idea from Awardco. We had a Spirit Week on our 75th anniversary, so we had a theme for recognition every day, and it was recognize someone who saves the day, recognize someone who makes an impact. So lots of different kind of fun applications, and I love to see what our team members come up with. And every time Awardco's been able to help us deliver on these new ideas, which is fun.
Abby, what about yourself? What are some of the ways that you use Awardco?
Yeah, I wouldn't say that L3 Harris is on the forefront of the recognition space, but a couple things that we've done that I think are kind of unique is that we have brought in-house our ERG programs, our Employee Resource Group programs, as well as a corporate, we call it our corporate launch program because we have a launch program, which is our points-based program. And so we house those within Rise, our platform, and it allows so much customizability that we have been able to utilize it throughout the organization. So whether we wanted to do Engineering Week, or we've ddone Employee Appreciation Week, or things like that, we've done different initiatives through the program because it's so customizable. And then our ERGs, we have an ERG council where they do different raffles and different events that they may do something off-site, and they, can recognize through the platform, and then the leadership, the chair from that specific ERG announces those leaders and those winners, I should say.
That's really great. Yeah. Carrie, what about yourself?
We have 5 standard programs, our service anniversaries for the milestone years. We do have a huge e-card thank you program, so it has no points attached to it. It's probably one of our biggest utilizers, and it's absolutely free. So that is a huge win for us. The other thing, we just put in a nomination program called the Mission Star, which is allowing associates throughout the organization to either nominate someone or nominate themselves and give an example of how they have met one of our life realizing potential star awards, and it gets shared with the organization on a quarterly basis.